Hello and welcome to one and all. I am Miss Premal Popat and today we'll be studying the module 3 of the chapter Elements, Compounds and Mixtures. This is a topic from 7th Standard Science textbook, and in this module we'll be studying about the methods of separating various substances from each other. So let's get started with the module. The first method is the method of distillation. So this is how the apparatus is arranged in the method of distillation. So let us understand the arrangement of this apparatus with help of the procedure. So take some salt water in a round bottom flask. So over here we see a round bottom flask. This is the round bottom flask and this flask has the solution of salt water. Okay. And arrange the apparatus as shown in the figure. Now inside this round bottom flask there is a thermometer over here kept to, it is inserted in this round bottom flask to measure the temperature. And this round bottom flask is clamped on a stand. Also we can see a nozzle which goes inside the test tube, okay, from the round bottom flask. So it is going inside the test tube, and inside this test tube there is a small tube which we can see over here. This is the small tube inside the test tube, okay, and this test tube is slightly in an inclined position or a slant position, and outside this small tube there is the cooling water. Cool water which has the temperature very low, okay, and then the end of this test tube is connected to this receiving flask with help of a funnel. So now start heating the liquid in the flask. So we have to heat the liquid with the help of this burner which is kept just below the round bottom flask, and we have to observe the conical flask. Slowly we can see that the droplets of water start falling into the conical flask. Over here we can see the droplets of water and they are falling into the conical flask, okay. Now we have understood the procedure, so let us study the observation. So this is the apparatus of the method of distillation. Here we have a round bottom flask and there is a burner just below it. Thermometer is inserted in this round bottom flask and one nozzle goes into this test tube which has a small tube inside, and outside this tube there is this cooling water, and from this cooling water pipe or a funnel goes into the receiving flask, okay. So now the salt water in the round bottom flask boils on heating. So we are heating this round bottom flask. So the salt water is getting heated, and after some time, that is after some heat, after the salt water is heated, we can see the vapors rising above in the round bottom flask, and these vapors are water vapors. Now when the salt water is heated, the water vapor rises in the round bottom flask, and these vapors, here we can see a nozzle, so this vapors passes into the test tube with help of this small tube, that is the nozzle. So here, so when the vapor passes through the inclined tube, now this tube is slightly inclined in the slant position, so it gets cooled due to the surrounding cold water. Now over here inside this small tube there is water vapor, and outside this tube there is cooling water whose temperature is low. Steam's temperature is high and this surrounding cooling water, its temperature is low. So due to this surrounding cooling water, what happens, the round bottom flask, that is the water vapor inside the tube, it condenses into water. Why? Because the temperature of the surrounding cooling water is less, okay, compared to the water vapor, and that is why this water vapor is condensed into water. So that is why the droplets fall into this conical or receiving flask, okay, because the water vapor has condensed into water, and that is why this water droplets are falling into this conical flask. So from this experiment, what we have understood that how the water is separated from salt water solution. So when the salt water solution is heated, salt remains behind, okay, at the bottom of the round bottom flask, and all the water, it turns into the water vapor, and then it again condenses in the inclined tube into water, and then the water droplets fall into this conical or receiving flask. So this is the method of distillation, and distillation is also used for purification of impure liquids. The second method is separating funnel method. So let us understand about this method. So over here on the screen, the diagram of the apparatus is shown. So what we can see a conical flask. Okay, this is the conical flask, and there is a separating funnel over here which is mounted on a stand with help of a clamp. So this is the apparatus of the separating funnel method. So when a mixture of two immiscible liquids is left undisturbed, two layers are clearly seen to have formed. So over here two immiscible liquids are taken. Immiscible means insoluble liquids. These liquids do not mix with each other. Okay. So over here oil and water is taken. Okay. So these are two immiscible liquids which do not dissolve with each other. And after some time when they are left undisturbed, so two layers have been seen to have formed. So the heavier of the liquids remains below and the lighter of the liquids floats on it. Now the heavier one, that is the water, it settles at the bottom, and the oil, which is the lighter liquid, floats on it. Why the water settles at the bottom? It is because of the density. Water is much more denser than oil, and we know that denser objects tend to settle or occupy the bottom area. So that is why water is settling down and oil floats on it due to the difference in density. Two liquids in a mixture can be separated by making use of this property. Now we are going to separate water from oil, okay, by making use of this separating funnel method. So the procedure and observation of the separating funnel method is as follows. This is the apparatus of the separating funnel, and we know that high density liquid, that is water, has taken the bottom position, and low density liquid oil is floating on the water. Okay, so let us understand the procedure. We are going to pour a mixture of oil and water into a separating funnel with its stopcock closed. Now here there is a tap or a stopcock. So we are going to close this tap, and oil and water is poured in this funnel. Okay. So after some time, that is, now we are going to leave this mixture undisturbed for a while. So after some time, water takes the bottom position and oil is floating on it due to the difference in density. Water is much more denser than oil. Water will remain below and oil will float on it. Okay. So now without shaking the funnel, remove the stopper. Now we are going to remove this tap or the stopper without shaking the funnel. So what will happen? The water will start pouring into this beaker which is below it. Okay. So when we remove the tap, water is collected in this beaker. Now as soon as the water is over in this funnel which is above the beaker, we are going to close the tap. Okay. As soon as the water is collected in the beaker, we are going to close the tap. So what can we see? We have seen that water is being separated from oil. Over in the beaker there is water and oil is there in the funnel. So in this way, water and oil or any two or more immiscible liquids can be separated with help of this separating funnel method. Now on the screen we have two glasses which has turbid water. What do we mean by turbid water? Turbid water is that water which is not crystal clear. That means it is opaque. This water is mixed with mud or soil. That means we cannot see through this water. So in these two glasses there is turbid water, and over here milk and ink are taken. So now there are three liquids, okay, in glasses and a bottle. So we are going to keep this liquids which are there in the glasses undisturbed for some time, okay. Now we are going to leave it like that only for some time. So what happens when turbid water is kept undisturbed? When turbid water is kept undisturbed for a while, the soil particles in it settle to the bottom, okay. So over here what can we see? Now when this turbid water was kept undisturbed, the soil particles which were floating in the water, they are settling at the bottom. That means they are taking the bottom position when they are kept undisturbed for some time. But what happens with milk and ink? When milk and ink are kept undisturbed for some time, the particles do not settle at the bottom, okay. We do not see the particles settling at the bottom in case of milk and ink when they are left undisturbed. So this particle, but why they do not settle at the bottom? Why the solid particles in the milk and ink, they do not take the bottom area? It is because of the solids in this mixture are very tiny and light. Okay, the solid particles in milk and ink are very tiny and light, and that is why they do not take the bottom position, or they don't settle at the bottom even after keeping undisturbed for some time. And also these solid particles cannot be separated from milk and ink by methods like filtration and settling, okay. So which method will be used to separate the solid particles from ink and milk? So this will be learning in our next slide. To separate the solid particles from such mixtures which cannot be separated by filtration and settling, method of centrifugation is used. So what is this method of centrifugation? A centrifuge machine is used to separate solids from a mixture of liquid and solids. That means there is this machine, it is used to separate solids from liquids and also solid from solid itself. So how does this machine look like? Over here this is the centrifuge machine. There is a lid which is used to cover this machine, and inside this machine we can see test tubes. Now also there is a disc, circular disc. So it consists of a disc. This disc rotates like a fan at a great speed, okay, and there is a provision to attach test tube at the rim of this disc. Now rim is the outer edge of the disc. So at the outer edge of this disc, test tubes can be attached, okay, and this disc rotates at a very high speed. So this is the centrifuge machine which is used to separate solids from a mixture of a liquid and a solid. So let us understand the procedure and observation of this method. So this is the test tube over here. This is the centrifuge machine, and inside this machine there is a circular disc and these test tubes are attached. So what happens when the test tubes attached to this disc rotate at high speed? Over here we can see in this GIF image how these test tubes are rotating. These test tubes are rotating at high speed, okay. So there is a disc, and at the outer edge of this disc these test tubes are attached. So these test tubes are rotating at high speed. So when these test tubes are rotating at high speed, what happens? A force is generated. A force is generated due to the circular movement of this test tube, and due to this force the particles are pushed away from the center. That means over here we can see that the particles are scattered all over the test tube inside this tube, okay. Over here they are scattered, the solid particles are scattered all over the liquid, all over this mixture. So when these test tubes are rotated, these solid particles are pushed away from the center. That means they take the bottom area. Over here I am marking with red color in the first image. Now due to the force generated, this solid particles, they are pushed away from the center. Okay, and as a result, the solid particles in the mixture, they get collected at the bottom of the tubes. Okay, they get collected at the bottom of the tube, and hence, or in this way, these solid particles are separated from a liquid mixture. Okay, what happens? Due to the rotation, a force is generated which pushes the particles away from the center, that is to the bottom, and in this way the solid particles are separated from the liquid. The last method which separates the substances from each other is the method of chromatography. So let us understand this method in detail. So if two or more substances are dissolved in small proportions in the same solution, so we have a solution and in that solution there are two or more substances which are dissolved. So these substances are separated from each other by means of chromatography. So chromatography separates two or more substances which are dissolved in small proportions in a solution. So this is the apparatus of the method of chromatography. Over here there is a beaker, and inside this beaker there is a solution. Okay, and in this solution there are two or more substances which are dissolved in small proportions. Now a filter paper is clamped to a stand, and this filter paper is dipped inside the solution. Okay, and there is a ink dot which you can see at the edge of this filter paper. So this method is used in pharmaceutical science factories and science laboratories for detecting new ingredients. Now, if in a solution we want to detect new ingredients or identify which ingredients or which components are dissolved, so this method of chromatography is useful. So what's the procedure of this method of chromatography? First, we are going to take some water in beaker. Over here we have taken some water, or you can say some solution in a beaker. So take a rectangular piece of filter paper. We are taking a filter paper and put one spot of blue ink on it about 2 centimeter away from one edge. Over here at one edge we are going to put a drop of blue ink, and it is 2 centimeter away from the edge. Now keep this paper upright in the water in the beaker. So we are dipping this paper in the beaker which has the solution. After some time the spot of ink is seen to have risen. Now over here we can see the spot of ink, it has risen to some height, and also we can see the filter paper has different colors. So the ink has changed its color. So if there are two or more constituents of different colors in the ink, they will be seen to have risen to different heights due to the different colors. Now if there are three or more solutions or even more solutions or more components in that solution, what we can say, this colors which has risen to some height, these colors will tell us how many components are mixed in the solution. Okay. Now this experiment can be done using a chalk stick also instead of filter paper. Same chalk stick also we have to dip inside the solution, and at the edge of the chalk stick we have to put a drop of ink. So over here we can see how the ink is rising to a certain height with change in colors. So this is the procedure of method of chromatography. So in this method of chromatography, two properties of substances are used. Which two properties are used? These are the solubility of the substance in the solvent that moves up, and the ability of the substance to stick to the stationary filter paper. Now what happens? Every substance has different amount of solubility, means they have been mixed in different proportions, and the ability of the substance to be mixed with each other is different. Okay, so the amount of solubility of the substance is different, and due to this difference in the solubility, what happens? The components of the mixture rise at different points. Now over here we can see different colors at different heights. Okay, in the GIF image we can see different colors rising at different heights. It is because of the amount of solubility of the substance. Okay, so that is why different substances gets different colors and they rise at different heights because of the solubility of the particular substance. So in this way we can detect or identify different and new ingredients in a solution. So we get to know how many substances are mixed in a solution and also which are they. So this was all about method of chromatography. So students, in this third module we have studied the methods of separation, how the mixtures or other substances can be separated from each other by various methods. So this was the last module of elements, mixtures and compounds. Thank you students for your attention.